Thank you for watching. In this video, we're going to look at 7 reasons why the ZANU-PF have let down the people of Zimbabwe. Stay tuned. My name is Ndumi, and I'm an African who has a strong desire to see Africa become the jewel that God has intended it to be. We're going to look at 7 reasons why the ZANU-PF have let down the people of Zimbabwe and are partially to blame for the current economic and political crisis the country is in. Let's get straight into the video. Number 1, they took a well-run economy and ran it down. In 1980, they took a well-run economy that was even under sanctions under the UDI, and they ran it down. I was old enough to remember of a time in Zimbabwe when milk would be delivered to your door as well as bread every morning, nice and fresh. I remember a time where 20-cent coin was used to get onto a Zupco bus, which was nice, new and clean, to go into the city. The bus schedule would run on time every time and had a schedule that it would always keep to. That is the Zimbabwe that I remember. What is even more sad is that there's a generation today that will never know what that Zimbabwe was like. They're almost like a lost generation that are used to fuel queues, power cuts, water cuts, and those sort of things that we never knew growing up. ZANU-PF at independence was gifted with a well-running economy. If only they had been able to manage that, if only they were able to look after the things they were given, then we wouldn't be where we are right now. Number 2, they feel entitled to the nation. If you look at history, ZANU-PF did not win the war by themselves. There were both ZANLA and ZIPRA forces that came together. But not only that, every citizen of then Rhodesia, every black person, and even some white people too, all contributed to Zimbabwe gaining its independence in 1980. No one should be able to take such a broad victory and personalize it and own it as if it's theirs. Even if we assume that it's true that we owe our liberation to ZANU-PF and ZANU-PF alone, it doesn't give them a right or a monopoly over Zimbabwe as it is today. The people that died and fought for our country fought for the freedom of the people and the liberation of that people. And with liberation comes democracy. People have a right to choose how they're governed. And I'd like to take this time to say that we greatly appreciate all the work that was done in liberating Zimbabwe. As a young Zimbabwean myself, I do not look down upon those that had to make the tough decisions, that had to sacrifice themselves for us to be free from the tyranny of colonialism. I get that personally, and I fully understand the implications of what happened before 1980. However, I say moving forward, we cannot keep looking backward as a reason for stagnation on our way forward. We need to progress and live in the freedom that was fought hard for and that people died for. Number 3, ZANU-PF took a socialist communist ideology that was doomed to fail. If you look back at history, you'll find that ZANU was supported by the Chinese, meanwhile ZAPU was supported by the Soviet Union. Both these two nations were very big into communism at the time. As the ZAPU and ZANU forces were trained, they were then indoctrinated into the socialist philosophy. It's unfortunate that this philosophy still remains with ZANU-PF today. We all know that communism as an ideology was repressive and doomed to fail. On this point alone, I could do a whole video on it, but just want to keep it short for the sake of progress. Once Zimbabwe won independence, ZANU-PF did not reform its ideology. It came into power with a communist ideology that then clashed with the Rhodesian ideology that was one of capitalism. The two systems did not meet, and that is when things started to unravel. Number 4, ZANU-PF does not take responsibility. They blame colonialism, they blame sanctions, they blame the people. There's a lot of blame that is being dished around, but no one ever introspects and has a look and see where are they going wrong. The ZANU-PF mentality seems to be one of war, and they're always at war against something, even in times like this when we're meant to be coming together in unity and in peace. In a progressive world, the blame game doesn't work. We all have to come together to find solutions to our problems, to work together as one, instead of tearing ourselves apart. Zimbabweans are clever and resilient. We are able to come up with our own solutions, even without looking out to other countries to come and help us. We just need to come together and put our heads together and agree to stop blaming one another and look forward to solutions to our problems. Number 5. ZANU-PF has colonized their own people. This is another symptom of communism as discussed before. ZANU-PF seems to play by different rules from everyone else, and yet they create the rules for the other people to play by as well. If you look at freedom of speech, they're free to say whatever they want about whomever they want, but if a citizen speaks up, they're labeled, brutalized, tortured, or worse. It seems that ZANU-PF wants a population that is subservient and obedient. However, that does not even apply with the tendencies of freedom and liberation that they aspire to. In fact, if you look at it, it is a form of re-colonization. The benefits that Zimbabweans have garnered through liberation have been taken back, and that ownership seems to only belong to ZANU-PF. Number 6. They don't practice what they preach. They claim to be tough on corruption, and yet they release those people that are proved to be corrupt and arrest the people that have exposed the corruption. They say austerity for prosperity, and yet they're driving around in the latest luxury cars that are either bought with government funds or worse, from corruption. They say the voice of the people is the voice of God, but it seems that they prefer a silent God, and that when the people speak, their voice is often ignored and pushed to the side. They say education and healthcare for everyone, and yet the hospitals are closing and understaffed, and the schools are under-resourced, and we can't even pay them a decent wage or salary for the important jobs that they have to do. The list is endless. If ZANU-PF wants to win the hearts of the people, they need to mean what they say and say what they mean, and then do what they say. That is the only way to win the hearts of the people of Zimbabwe. Number 7. ZANU-PF chased their greatest asset away. This asset is the people. Zimbabwe has millions of people living in the diaspora right now, all of them waiting for a time when they can come home and equally contribute to the building of this great nation. Many of them are forced to live outside this country, doing menial jobs and living like a foreigner in a land that's not theirs. But they say the problems there are better than the problems at home, and who can blame them? We have not created an environment that is conducive to allow people to stay in their country and to work on building their country from inside. The key to Zimbabwe's revival is within the diaspora. And I'm not just talking about people who send home $100, $200 here to keep their families going, but we're talking about skilled Zimbabweans who are doing big things out there in the world, whose skills and knowledge we can use, we can glean from, and put together so that we can build a better nation, build a better country. ZANU-PF just needs to create an environment where people can feel safe to come home and to rebuild the nation once again. Question of the day: what one thing would you like ZANU-PF to change? I look forward to reading your comments down below, and I'll make sure to respond to all of them. In conclusion, once upon a time, ZANU-PF was the hope of the nation. It was the hope of our aspirations to see black people liberated, to see black people have a land of their own, which they could call home and which they could build their own civilization. However, this dream has turned into a nightmare. This video is for us to tell the truth to one another in love, peace, and unity, so that we can find a way forward, a way to progress, and a way to realize a better Zimbabwean for every one of us. I know a lot of people watching this video might think that I'm anti-ZANU-PF, but I'm not. I'm a son of the soil. I'm a Zimbabwean just like you watching. And I love this nation, and I want to see the best for this nation. And as I said in many of my other videos, just because someone disagrees with you does not make you an enemy. I believe that God has a destiny for Zimbabwe, and a destiny for it to prosper, and for it to rise up from the ashes of which we have so long been in, and to be a light and beacon to the world. I believe that Zimbabwe has the capacity to do it, only if we come together in unity. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.